All right, for today's video, we're going to be continuing our look at the Wave 2 Legacy United figures. And for today, we're going to be taking a look at Deluxe class Infernac Universe Shard, another one of our sort of, Rock Lord modulator types here. And yeah, she's a pretty cool figure. Turns into a little helicopter here. And she is actually taking inspiration from the Jewel Lord, specifically Solitaire, which has been, mentioned in live streams and stuff like that. So it's cool to see them branching out. I would like a few more just like, regular Rocky type guys if they're going in this direction, but still, no, it's a pretty cool little alt mode here. Definitely, it's more along the lines of Magnius, of like looking like a Earth vehicle that is covered in stones rather than looking like a totally, alien rocky vehicle like Boulder Crash does. But if that's the direction they're going, I feel like this works pretty well. It's a really nice design here. I love how they use this like translucent green plastic, which has that like rocky type sculpting on the inside, so it catches light in really interesting ways, but is still smooth on the outside, which is a pretty neat effect here. But yeah, no, great sculpted detail all over this figure. She does have her rotors up here, which can spin. The little turntable that they're on definitely wobbles a little bit, so sometimes it's hard to get like a decent spin out of it, but you definitely can, which is cool there. And then she comes with these two weapons here, these like little, burst, thruster weapons or whatever, and they do have a dedicated storage spot in alt mode. If you see here, this little chip here that ends up being on her arm will actually go into this little section right here. So we just want to tab those in. They actually have those little dedicated spots there. And yeah, that looks decently fine. I think that the helicopter mode looks a little bit cleaner without them, but still, that works well for me. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, just for the standard one, here she is with Kingdom Sideswipe, just so you can see what the two of them look like together. Like, obviously, this helicopter and car scale doesn't really work, but also alien rock helicopter, so who cares? For a standard deluxe helicopter transformer, here she is with Siege Spinister, for one of the more recent ones that we've had. That's what the two of them look like together. Here she is for a Rock Lords comparison with Tombstone here, just because he's long and thin and green. So, I mean, really, she's supposed to be compared more to Solitaire, but I don't have Solitaire, so there she is with Tombstone. And then last but not least, here she is with Magnius and Boulder Crash, just so you can see what the three of them look like together. And yeah, a really cool little subline so far. I'm definitely enjoying these guys and looking forward to getting more of them. But yeah, in terms of transformation, you can leave all of her stuff on. It can stay there throughout the transformation. First thing you want to do is just untab this section from the lower section like that, and then just unfold this panel like that, and then kind of rotate this around and clip this into place, and then separate the legs here and rotate them forward, and then flip down the feet just like that. Then we want to take these turquoise panels here, and they'll untab from the side here. The arm tabs into the back fin piece here, and then this kind of sandwiches underneath that section there, and just do that on both sides. It can be a little bit tricky in there, but it's not too bad. And just rotate it out like that for now. Then we want to take the arm sections and just rotate them out of these panels, just to like kind of give it a little bit of clearance. And then you can take this this front section here with the chest and fold it down like that, and then this tab right here on the waist will go into that section right there. And then we can bring these panels the rest of the way, and then these slots will go over these tabs to kind of lock everything in place there, just like that. And then we can rotate around the arms. For the back section here, you want to take the whole tail fin section and then click it up like that. And then what I tend to do with the rotors here, because they're all just pegged in, what I like to do is take these ones and kind of fold them down like that to kind of keep this from wobbling around, and then fold these down over it, kind of like movie blackout style. I feel like that looks pretty cool. And then for these, they do just end up staying on the arms, but because of the way they're like keyed in there, you can't really just like rotate them around. You have to actually like untab them and tab them back in. So it's not too bad. It would be nice if those could rotate around, but that's really not much of a complaint. That's a nitpick at best. But yeah, there we have Shard in her robot mode, and she looks really cool. I really like this design. It definitely doesn't really look quite like Solitaire, and I don't think it's really meant to totally. It's just kind of a loose inspiration, and she's not really the right color for that design, but still, no, a really cool little figure. I, again, love how this detail shows up on the chest. I love the way her head sculpt works there. Kind of, for some reason, it reminds me of like this is a weird reference, but it reminds me of the Hearts of Steel designs when they like got revealed to be different characters later in the IDW comics, and they like had the like kind of like dinosaur-esque designs. The way the heads looked like, this kind of reminds me of that. It's a weird pull, but you know, I don't know. It's just kind of, I doubt that there was any inspiration there, but it's just kind of what it makes me think of. But yeah, in terms of articulation, yeah, the head is just on a swivel, so it can just rotate around like that. The arms, I mean, this is part of the modulator gimmick, are just pegged in like that, so they can rotate around on that joint and then rotate out to the side. She has a bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, wrist joints, which is nice, waist cut, which tends to bump into things eventually, but it gets a pretty decent range before that. Hips can go forward and back and out to the side. She's got a thigh swivel, but it's like pretty much just at the knee where it pegs in, but it is still technically above the knee joint, so it still functions like a normal thigh swivel. Then 90 degrees of bend at the knee, maybe a degree more, and then the feet can tilt forward and back and out to the side a little bit there. So really good foot articulation. Yeah, these weapons, you know, you can have them just tabbed onto her arms, or you can have her like holding them as guns. That works well. I mean, it looks a little bit better if you have it the other way, honestly, but still, you know, they're versatile. You can move them around, but those are that's like really the best storage spot for them. I guess you could get them like on the hips if you wanted to, but I don't think that looks a lot better, and it kind of messes with the leg well, you know, less than you'd expect it to, honestly. they kind of work just fine if you want to put them there, but yeah, you know, this is some decent options there. And the swords are really weird. Okay, so you can untab the swords, obviously, and she can hold these, but not like you think, because they have this like really inexplicable little tab on this part here, which is not used for anything and only prevents her from holding these like swords. The way they have her hold them is like this, and like tabbing two of them into the same hand, which is kind of cool, but like you'd think that she could hold them like a sword, but she just can't. This little tab does not get in the way of the pegging them into this, though, because of all these little like grooves and cutouts here. So you can tab these in like that, but it does kind of prevent it from sitting like straight up and down like that, because there are those two little notches right there. Like it has to either be at an angle or be, you know, like horizontal to the arm, which I feel like is weird again, and that's how she's holding them like this too. And I just can't really fathom what those are for. The only thing I could possibly think of is if they're planning ahead for some possible, like, you know, Infernac universe combiner or something, and those will be used for that. But it's such a shallow tab that I really doubt it could be at like a sturdy connection point anyway. And it doesn't really matter for this, because like it would just be better if you could just peg that into there and it could still rotate around. That tab is not necessary for it to actually stay in there. So I am really considering just like, you know, taking an X-Acto knife and shaving those off, just so she could actually hold those as shorts. Oh my God, hold those as swords. But I don't know, maybe it'll be used for something in the future. I can't totally say. So maybe I'll wait on it for now, but it's just really bizarre to me, because like it really is pretty limiting, and they're not actually used for anything. So it's very strange. But yeah, that's how you're supposed to do the weapons, as weird as that may be. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, just for the standard ones, here she is again with Sideswipe and Spinister there, so you can see what she looks like with them. Here she is again with Tombstone for that Rock Lords comparison, and then here she is again with Magnius and Boulder Crash. And yeah, like I said, I think that the three of them look pretty cool together. I'm excited to get more of these guys. This is definitely a fun little, you know, sub theme for Legacy United. But yeah, there's the only other thing to talk about for her is her like modulator function. So just showing off like all the parts that she comes with. So obviously we can take off the weapons there. That part's easy. Then we can also remove her arms like I showed off. The legs come off, but also these panels on the legs come off, and there's even some sculpted detail underneath there. And that's pretty much it. So again, you know, with the whole modulator thing, there's still kind of nothing you can do with the main body part. It doesn't really seem like that's what they're doing for The Infernac universe guys, unfortunately, you're just supposed to kind of like take these bits and attach them to other characters. They show it off with Gears. I don't really think it looks that good with Gears, so I'm going to show it off with Sideswipe just because he's actually got holes on the side of his arms to like, you know, peg on the little like gem panels or whatever. Let's see what else we can do here. We can give him these they do show off like a mode with the gun here, where if you peg these bits into both sides of the hand here, and then take the swords. Maybe this would work better with someone else. Let's do it with Spinister. Helicopters. He's got thin arms. But yeah, we can put these on both sides of the hands here. It doesn't quite fit with him either. That's all right. It works well enough. And then take the swords and plug them in like this into the blasters, and then you can take this other hole on the back of the blasters and peg the other swords into it just like that. It creates this like weird sort of like double sword bow and arrow thing, which is kind of a neat look there. You know, I mean, I don't think that's a great substitute for just being able to have the swords be swords, but it doesn't really get in the way of that. So like I said, you know, if you wanted to do that and then take off the those little tabs, that would still work. And then we'll just put these maybe on his shoulders. That would be kind of fun. Yeah. Get that going on. You know, the point of these guys that they're supposed to be a little bit versatile, right? And again, I think that in terms of like the armorizers or whatever, the other, you know, like in terms of the other like modulator guys, I feel like these guys are a little bit less versatile in terms of like weaponing up guys. But you know, there's some stuff you can do that roughly looks like they've got crystals growing off them and stuff like that. I don't think there's really any good way to use the arms or the body, but you know, there's things like that you can do. It's an okay look. Again, I'm hoping that the modulator thing ends up getting used for them so they can do some kind of combiner with each other, but they're really not very versatile in terms of like modulators. But regardless of that, they are all just kind of, you know, decent figures in and of themselves. So I'm not really super bothered by it so far. But yeah, you know, that's pretty much all there is to Shard. I've got to gather up her pieces here and actually put her back together. So be right back for that. But yeah, she's a pretty cool figure, all things considered. I think I still like Magnius a bit better than her, but she is a fun toy. A neat little transformation, a good-looking alt mode, decent articulation, and again, just nice sculpting and paint work on these Rock Lord guys. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to her. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Legacy United Infernac Universe Shard.